Hey there, Josh here from Limbo CMMS. In this video, we'll be going over preventive maintenance, what it is, all the different concepts within it, so you better understand how to take care of your assets at your facility and ensure that you have great uptime. So let's go ahead and dive in so we can learn a bit more. So what is preventive maintenance? Preventive maintenance is a popular proactive maintenance solution that aims to postpone assets' point of failure and increase their useful lifetime value. That means that in this type of maintenance, the services are scheduled in advance to address any deterioration before it can lead to equipment breakdowns. Organizations in a variety of industries, especially in manufacturing, have been adopting PM plans to streamline their asset management strategy. And over the years, it has been proved to be an effective way to keep organizations away from high costs and production delays involved with reactive maintenance. So, trying to stay as far away from reactive maintenance as possible. In this way, you can ensure that if there is going to be downtime, it's more predictable. And preventive maintenance is scheduled in intervals of either time or usage cycles. So, as shown in this image here, the equipment runs normally, and when it reaches the preset interval cycle, which can be 3 weeks, 100 production cycles, that's just an example there. It can automatically trigger a preventive maintenance request if you're using a preventive maintenance or CMMS software that does that type of thing. And here we'll go over the different types of preventive maintenance. And preventive maintenance types are determined based on what triggers the service, time, or usage. So we have calendar-based preventive maintenance, and which is performed at fixed time intervals and regardless of the condition or usage of the asset. Examples of calendar-based PM include change the filter every month, inspect the conveyor belt every month, test the fire protection system every semester, or lubricate pumps every other week. And those are just some basic ones right there. It really depends on the assets within your facility and what you're dealing with. To set the most optimal time intervals, maintenance managers can look at the guidelines provided by the equipment manufacturer and consult maintenance tech personnel and can consult maintenance technicians as well. And then we have usage-based maintenance, which is scheduled based on assets operation. This type of PM tends to be more precise when it comes to the needed maintenance, but we don't always have the necessary data to calculate the optimal moment for that service. It's very hard to integrate something like that, but with time, there are becoming easier ways to integrate it thanks to data and software and enabling us to keep track of our assets better. So some examples of usage-based PM include changing the oil every 5,000 kilometers, inspecting valves every 200 working hours, and replacing filters every 50 production cycles. And again, those are just some basic examples, and it really varies from asset to asset and facility to facility. So who should leverage preventive maintenance? Preventive maintenance is the most common and accessible sort of proactive maintenance, therefore it should be included in almost all, and I would say all asset management strategies. I simply don't see why not. It wouldn't be included in there. So it's key for whatever you're doing when it comes to taking care of your assets. It's important to keep in mind that the most successful plans involve a mix of different maintenance approaches though. For example, predictive maintenance, which has a higher implementation cost, tend to be used for a few critical assets that are responsible for the main business operations and processes. But it's very hard to implement predictive maintenance depending on the assets that you're working with. And again, it is more costly usually to do something like that. If your facility really depends on one particular asset to keep everything running, then yeah, it could be very important and make financial sense to go ahead and implement predictive maintenance for that asset. And then preventive maintenance comes to cover all the other important assets that were not included in the predictive maintenance plan. In general, preventive maintenance is beneficial for businesses that have critical assets which have functionality that affects business performance, and if you want lower operational costs, and if you want to decrease the risk of accidents in the workplace, and you want to reduce the level of reactive and corrective maintenance, as well as have a tight maintenance budget. When it comes to all these things, preventive maintenance makes sense to put in place. So everyone, when they're running a business, is looking to reduce costs. So if you are running a business, then to some regards, you should be putting in preventive maintenance plans and strategies. Here are some of the pros and cons of preventive maintenance. One of the main disadvantages of preventive maintenance is that Since the service is performed before any signs of failure appear, it's easy to overschedule maintenance and end up wasting resources. This means that you inevitably lose some man hours doing unnecessary inspections, and some spare parts will be replaced even though they could endure additional wear and tear. The problem can be minimized by adjusting the PM schedules based on mean time failure rates, or MTBF, and other metrics you can keep track of with CMMS software. I won't mention all the benefits since you can see them on the image here, but the bottom line is that even with some resources wasted, preventive maintenance is a cost-effective approach that can significantly increase an asset's ROI. And here we have preventive maintenance implementation best practices. Some of these best practices including committing to change and keeping everyone on the same page. This means making sure that all team members understand the impact of their roles and the big picture that helps them engage and commit to their part in this process of making sure that the preventive maintenance plan is implemented effectively. And of course, having high standards in their procedures that are also documented and ensure that those procedures are being followed is such a key to success. So making sure that you're tracking each member's contribution along the way. And you want to define and track relevant metrics. So define your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and then see which maintenance metrics you can use to track your progress towards those goals. After all, you can't improve what you don't measure. This process should be simple if you are using a CMMS, because a CMMS makes all the data very visual and enables you to have checklists and preventive maintenance reminders for all your assets. And the software can automatically calculate a wide array of metrics, including MTBF, MTTR, maintenance costs, planned maintenance versus unplanned work, and PMs that are getting completed and that are scheduled and that are also completed on time. So there are many things that a CMS or preventive maintenance software can do. And then we want to make sure to use preventive maintenance checklists. Checklists are a great way to speed up the process and keep a consistent work quality. They can be especially helpful to less experienced technicians and those who don't have a lot of practice with particular assets. Limble CMMS allows users to attach preventive maintenance checklists and diagrams to their work orders, helping provide more context to the work order so they can be completed more effectively, as well as when they are completed, people can take pictures and attach those pictures to those work orders so people understand what the exact problem was. And then we want to develop a realistic preventive maintenance schedule. And when I say realistic, I really mean realistic, because we tend to overshoot, but we want to make sure that we can align with expectations so that way everything is on time. And that's what preventive maintenance is about, is to ensure that everything is working in a timely manner. It's common for maintenance managers to include more assets in their plan than the organization's resources can support. You have to keep in mind your limitations on budget, parts, tools, and manpower. It's tempting to add all important assets to your PM schedule and strategy right away, but you should not do that. Instead, implement a realistic scenario for your current situation so that way you can actually complete it. And then you want to make a conscious effort to minimize excessive maintenance. So one of the ways to do this is to use your data from your CMS or preventive maintenance software and analyze your assets and the time that your team spent on fixing them and checking in on them. If they haven't had any malfunctions or breakdowns lately, maybe they could do with less preventive maintenance. When possible, you can test similar assets by putting them on a different PM schedule and tracking what happens. And you want to automate preventive maintenance with a CMS. So now we're at the automation part. And at this point of importance in this journey, what you want to do is reduce the number of human errors, increase work accountability, and improve communication and productivity. And that will lead to many more beneficial outcomes. If you're thinking about using a CMS for preventive maintenance, and maybe you are already using one, and if you are, then you have a great first step and hopefully it has the capabilities that you need in order to handle your preventive maintenance, because it should be making that implementation process much easier. And some of the points that CMMS can help you with is quick and easy setup of your preventive maintenance schedules and assets based on time or usage, tracking preventive maintenance work with an easy to use maintenance calendar, creating PM checklists and attaching them to your work orders, as well as automating the administrative part of maintenance by sharing electronic work orders and letting the CMMS automatically log performed work. And a CMMS can also get instant access to all the maintenance data with technicians who implement a lot of this data, and they can have access to it via their mobile devices when out in the field. And it helps improve the quality control and control over your spare parts inventory through automatic parts usage tracking and low in-stock notifications. And you can also keep a close eye on your preventive maintenance program by tracking important metrics and KPIs. And there we have it. We just went over a lot of what you need to know with preventive maintenance. I'm excited for you to go ahead and implement a preventive maintenance strategy within your company. And if you're looking to try a preventive maintenance software, I would recommend you to check out Limble CMMS. And I hope this video helped you understand the different types of preventive maintenance and when you should apply it, as well as how to maximize the value of a PM plan. And Limble CMMS does have a 30-day free trial. You can also request a demo. And there's also a self-demo, which makes it easy to understand the product. And if you're looking to check the product out, then make sure to go ahead and take a look at the link below this video in the description, and it'll take you right to Limble's website. So excited for you to better implement your preventive maintenance plans and strategies within your facility so you can ensure you have better uptime with all your assets. And we'll rock and roll from here. Cheers.